Good morning, everybody. Today is the Ohio Federal Research Network Opportunity Days for November the 15th. Welcome. We will go ahead and get started only because we have so much information to cover and there's a lot of people that are continuing to join, which is great for a bright sunny day here in Ohio. So next slide, if you would, please, Becky. So this is the agenda for today. I've got a brief overview that I'll provide to everybody, and I'll also do introductions here as we go along throughout the day, but this just gives you an idea of who's going to be speaking when for this morning's session. Next slide, please. So just some quick introductions and thank you. So I am Mark Bartman. I'm your MC for today. The Parallax team that puts these together always does an amazing job. Emma Zardo, Becky Mesher, Lauren Jones, Jess Pacheco, and Sophia Cipriani. Our event speakers today, and I'll do more formal introductions later on, but we have Dr. Lyons from the 711 Team Performance Wing, Dr. Robinson from NAMRD, and Dr. Frame from Parallax Advanced Research. And then our intrepid OFRN associate and college student, Stephen Price, will do a little opportunity review here towards the end of this morning's session. And again, thank you to our federal partners, Air Force Research Lab, the Navy Medical Research Unit in Dayton, NASA Glenn Research Center up in Cleveland, the National Air and Space Intelligence Center in Dayton, and the Ohio National Guard for all the support that they provide to this particular program. And of course, in particular to the Ohio Department of Higher Education, because without their support, this program actually would not exist. So we really, truly appreciate all of the support that we get from the Ohio Department of Higher Ed. Next slide, please. So just very briefly, for those that, if you're not familiar with how the Ohio Federal Research Network is built, we have our federal partners at the top, and of course the state of Ohio, which is where all of the funding comes from. So again, this program is funded 100% by the taxpayers of the state of Ohio. So we try to make sure that we are good stewards of those taxpayers' money as we go through each of these rounds. We, of course, look at our industry needs and our federal partner needs, and then we build the rounds based off of those specific needs. We have an executive review board and a technical review council that are the initial and final review authorities when it comes to which teams are going to end up being funded for the Ohio Federal Research Network. Next slide, please. Just very briefly, so the Ohio Federal Research Network goals, as you can see on here, as always, is to try to increase the federal funding for research dollars that comes to the state of Ohio, supporting those projects that I mentioned, and you'll see a list of what we used for round 6 here in just a moment. And of course, to increase the extent to which the Ohio Federal Research Network provides the enhanced collaboration amongst our industry and academic partners throughout the state of Ohio. And then, of course, develop those lasting and sustainable knowledge areas to further the technology commercialization here in the state of Ohio. Next slide, please. So impact to date, I call this the bubble slide. So you can see the number of universities and colleges here in the state of Ohio that have been engaged in the Ohio Federal Research Network program since it started in 2015. We have our 4 government and 1 state partner being the Ohio National Guard. So far to date through round 6, we have had over 106 business partners that have been engaged in the proposal process. Not all of those, of course, ended up having funded projects. But it's great to see that we have over 100 business partners throughout the state of Ohio that are interested in the program and are willing to take the time to put together a proposal with academic partners. Almost 360 direct jobs created, 13 spin-out companies so far over the first 5 full rounds. Anyways, as I mentioned, we're just starting round 6. So far to date, the state has invested over $60 million in this program. And we have been able to bring back to the state of Ohio over $360 million in federal follow-on funding. And again, Thank you to, of course, our academic and industry partners because of their engagement in this program and the desire to see it being successful. They have contributed almost $40 million of their own funding to this particular program. Next slide, please, Becky. So this is just a graphic depiction of the first 5 rounds, and because they were very focused on advanced air mobility, that is what the state has been very focused on. The governor's office, building the National Advanced Air Mobility Center of Excellence at Springfield Beckley Airport. And so we were very much supportive, along with our federal partners, in helping the state being able to be the leader when it comes to advanced air mobility and the type of technology that would be needed to push Ohio and our industry into the forefront of this new type of technology. This is a PDF actually that does live on our website, the Ohio Federal Research Network's website. The link to this particular PDF is in red there on your bottom right side. Each one of the funded projects that you see on the PDF that's on the left actually is a hot link. So if you go to that website address, you can click on any one of those links and it will take you to that project with a summary as to what the project was and who the team members were for that particular project, if you'd like more information on who worked that particular technology. And of course, you can always reach out to Becky or myself if you'd like more information. Happy to provide that to you. Next slide, please. So congratulations to our round 6 project awardees. So these are the 6 teams that are funded under round 6, which we are just now starting. We have everybody on contract, I believe, except for one team, and we're just dotting the I's and crossing the T's on that last one, which will happen here today. Other than that, all of these projects will be starting, and they match up with where it says AOI, which stands for Area of Interest, that particular column. So we had 6 areas of interest from our federal partners. We funded 1 project out of each of those areas of interest that you see listed there. You can see who the lead was for those particular projects and then who the team members were. So I think it turned out, of course, to be a great selection of universities and industry partners from around the state of Ohio that are participating in the work that's going to be going on here for the next 18 months as part of round 6. One of the questions that I always get is, so, when's the next round? So the Ohio Federal Research Network is based off of the state budget, which is a biennial budgeting cycle. So it does every 2 years, they do a new operating budget for the state. So round 7, which would be the next one, solicitation will probably not be out until somewhere in the February or March timeframe of 2025 to be funded in the state budget that would start in July of 2025. So if you haven't participated in OFRN previously and are interested in wanting to be a part of this and to be part of something that is just really tremendous for the state and for our industry and academic partners, then you can keep your eye on the Ohio Federal Research Network's website or make sure you're on our emailing list. And when we get ready for the next round, we will make sure that we contact you and let you know. Next slide, please. And by the way, I didn't mention it, but all these slides will be available too after the fact on our website. So I wanted to take just a couple minutes to announce a brand new project that we just got on contract here a month or 2 ago. It is the program is with the Defense Innovation Unit, and it's called the On-Ramp Hub Ohio. The entity that is actually going to operate the On-Ramp Hub is called the Great Lakes Mission Acceleration Center. And the partners that came together to be able to make this happen were Parallax Advanced Research, which is sort of the administrative arm of the Great Lakes Mission Acceleration Center. of course, Defense Innovation Unit, and also one of their sub-programs, which is the National Security Innovation Network, or NSIN, many of you may be familiar with. The Dayton Development Coalition, Jobs Ohio, and one of our main partners, One Defense, helped out to be able to bring this to fruition. So just a couple slides on what the Great Lakes Mission Acceleration Center is and what we're going to be doing here over this next year. Next slide, please. So the vision that we have for this particular initiative is that it'll be a front door to be able to get to, or for the Department of Defense to be able to actually get to industry and academia. The goal here is what we would call pretty much on the tech pull side of things. So it's being able to take problems that are identified to us from DoD or from the services, and then find those solutions that lie here in the state of Ohio. There are other regional mission acceleration centers around the country, and I'll list those here on a subsequent slide for that, just so to kind of give you the big picture. But this is focusing in specifically, of course, on coordinating through the Office of Secretary of Defense and the Defense Innovation Unit, these programs around the state of Ohio. And one of the programs is what we're funded for right now, which is this On-Ramp Hub program. And of course, because we are an Ohio-based program, we work with individuals and organizations throughout the state of Ohio that already exist, and we leverage those networks that are already there. So we're not trying to build necessarily something new, other than we are trying to hopefully better connect the needs of the Department of Defense with what is available and currently being developed and or is already commercially available in the market here in the state of Ohio. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, it is a state of Ohio program. There is a physical location in Dayton at the Entrepreneur Center, or also referred to as the Hub, not to be confused with On-Ramp Hub, which is a program that we're running for the Defense Innovation Unit. And again, as I mentioned, we have connectors as part of an affiliation with Parallax Advanced Research, is the Ohio Aerospace Institute in Cleveland, right next to NASA Glenn. So they actually will sort of be our main partner up in the Cleveland area. I mentioned One Defense as one of our main partners here as well on this program. They have the Cincinnati area and the southwest part of the state very well covered. And then, of course, we work with a number of partners in the Columbus area, to include the Center for Design and Manufacturing Excellence at Ohio State University when it comes to prototyping and doing some other things. And then, of course, as we continue to be more mature in this program, we'll continue to build it out for our other areas in the northwest part of the state or the southeast part of the state as well for that. Next slide, please. So the way that we envision this working, as I mentioned, because it's tech pull, is that we will be given a problem, or we will identify a problem that the Department of Defense has. Then we'll use some tools, data analytics, the networks that we have identified, to identify a team that we feel has a solution to provide to the department. And then, of course, we'll help with the technology and the business readiness, and we have a lot of assets that we can bring to do that, and assisting with the development. As I mentioned, one example, of course, prototyping and using systems engineering concepts to be able to do that. And then hopefully, of course, be able to transition the technology back to the department to solve that particular problem. Next slide, please. So I mentioned that we are one of a number of Mission Acceleration Center regional partners around the country. So the list there, the Great Plains MAC in Kansas, the Southwest MAC in Arizona, the Northwest MAC in Washington, and the Indo-Pacific MAC in Hawaii. So the goal here would be for all of us to work together in a very transparent way, because what we are trying to do, right, is to solve problems that the Department of Defense has And the only way to do that is for all of us to collaborate and work together through common platforms. So in other words, there may be a problem that the department has that's identified in Hawaii that we will be able to solve here in the state of Ohio because we're sharing information with our Hawaii partners on that. So, and then of course there's a lot of other things that make this program unique, as well as the state of Ohio unique as well.